Good morning, everybody, and welcome back to the channel. And so today I wanted to do a quick video on something I've been telling you guys about, and a lot of people have been asking about it on the other videos and on the forum and on the Reddit subreddit. It's about the electric charging and the wall charger. And I'm going to go through how we installed mine and just kind of some of the details, and hopefully this will answer all your questions. Now, I've done a couple of things here just to prep for this video that I'll go over. So here's my RIVIAN. It's an R1T 2022, as you would expect. And here's the charging port. There's these little detents here that you touch, and it'll open the charging port. And this is your home charger. And that's for the fast DC charging. So we're not using that at home. This is the guy we want to plug into. It's nicely lit, bright for you to find it easily. There's a few different colors I'll go through, and so you'll see. Okay, so, but before we get to charging the truck, we'll talk about the wall charger itself. So I have this closet, which kind of sits right exactly where that is, pretty perfect. And it also happened to be a closet where I was already doing a ton of electrical type things. Let's close this real quick. I love the motion of that, by the way. It's a very dihedral kind of motion, which is cool. So let's visit my closet here, and I'll go over what's in here. So here I have, these are pre-existing things. Everything is pre-existing except for that charger. And I'll talk about some of the reasons I did it the way I did it. And you guys can agree or disagree. So this is my transfer switch. So I use this transfer switch for a generator that I have in case we ever have a power outage. This transfer switch powers on all the circuits inside the house and nothing else. So, and it doesn't do things like my big electric oven and things like that. It's just the necessities, refrigerators, TV, internet, all the lights, that sort of thing. Okay, so that's the transfer switch. My main panel is exactly opposite this wall, like literally exactly opposite this wall, which is why I selected this closet as the closet for all things electrical. It just makes a lot of sense. Okay, and then so this is also installed to handle the interior sub panel when we do the switching. So what happens in here, I'm not going to go over it, but that's where all the switching is happening. Really, all the different connectors to reroute between the electricity coming from the city and the one coming from the generator happen in here, and that's a super clean way of doing it. I really like this method of doing the transfer switch. On my other channel, I'm actually going to do a video of doing that, but we won't get into that now. Bless you, boy. So here you've got a lot of stuff going on here. These are all pre-existing to the house. This is a line that just goes across and feeds some other stuff in that closet over there, and I won't get into it. I didn't opt for it to look like that. That's just the way it was. This is a line, a conduit that was coming from the box, which we'll visit in a second, and it was going here to a welder plug. Okay, that's still live. And but what was nice is the conduit was there, so we could kind of use it for the purposes of installing my my RIVIAN wall charger. So we basically, all we did was we used that same conduit to go through and then go out that way into that conduit that you see there and into the wall charger. Now, the reason I have this piece of plywood here is the backing of this closet is actually really thin board. And behind that, there's just drywall. There's not a whole lot of meat for things to grab onto. So what I did is I just cut a piece of plywood that would fit in this exact spot, put a bunch of screws in it to really fasten it to that wall, and then also rested it on the ground, right? So that would actually take all the weight off of the wall technically. So now this is not only sturdy, but I wouldn't be able to pull it off at all. I recommend some way that you can be really sure this isn't coming off the wall. Now, that's a metal plate that Rivian gives you, this metal plate. And there's a cleat behind this unit that actually just clips onto that metal plate. In fact, if I wanted to, I could just pick this up completely off the wall. Now, I'm going to show you what the inside of this thing looks like. I don't ever recommend opening it once you've got it installed. I'm just going to do it for you guys in the video. Now, why did I install it on this wall and not any other walls? Okay. As you can see, I don't have a whole lot of room up here. I didn't want it to be up there. That would be way too tall. I couldn't have it on this wall for a couple of reasons. There's nothing behind this wall, right? So that's one thing. The other thing is, the holster is actually to the right here, right? And I've now since come up with a different solution, but if the holster was on this side, I would never be able to actually plug it in. Right now I can plug it in. If this coil here is on the ground or whatever, I can easily plug it in. But I've come up with a different solution. And also I didn't want it on this wall, even though this would be a pretty ideal wall. The way this closet is, there's this big gap here. And I could have done that same solution. In fact, this wall would have worked just fine, I think. But we just decided not to do it, mostly because I wanted easy access to that welder switch, the welder plug still. So the other thing I did is I actually used my hole saw to make a nice little hole here, glued a piece of rubber so that I would never mar the actual big, thick charger cable. So that piece of rubber is here to protect that. And then I can just close the door. Everything closes just fine. And I got that coming out. Now, this thing is something I just ordered off of Amazon yesterday. It's just like an $8 holster is what they call it. And it just gives you a place to easily plug in your the charger head, whatever that is. Everything is kind of branded by Rivian, but I don't really know if Rivian actually manufactured this thing. It's hard to say. Now, you're probably wondering, what does the inside of this look like? There is a couple of security screws here and here that I've already removed just so I can show you this. And again, I don't recommend removing this panel ever. All right. So here's what the inside looks like. It's connected to this little circuit board with that little connector. This is what these dip switches determine what amperage you're trying to set it at. So you can go, 48, which is what it's set at now, or one down would be 40. The manual tells you how to set that for the different amperages. Okay, this is a super cool way of doing it. No software. I really like the kind of old school way of setting the amps, because you want to do that before you have to depend on any software. So you want to do that prior to, the install, so that before turning it on. And then back there is where those 3 wires are coming in. There's 2 hot and one ground. Ground goes in the middle, and that connector over there, not over here, that's already there, right? Not this one, but this one. So that's where your lines go. And then you're really done with your install for the most part. Sorry about the camera there. I'm gonna just put this back. And that's it. I'll come back and fix this. I know you guys are seeing it and commenting, so I'll have to come back and get that O-ring in place. That's that. And let's go take a look at the circuit box real quick. Just to kind of show you exactly where it is. Doing some construction back here, so there we go. Rivian. So this is my 60 amp breaker that I had installed. And those lines are literally, that hole is back here. Those lines are coming in, patching through, going up and right into the 60 amp breaker. That's really it. It's super simple to do this install. In fact, if you really wanted to, you could do it yourself if you know what you're doing. But I don't recommend that unless you are super savvy with electrical things. And even though I've done quite a bit of wiring, I actually had a pro come in and do this install. And some people commented that this looks not very pro, but I already explained to you the limitations I had with space and the way I wanted to do it and the reason the board's there. So hopefully that puts an end to it. And then while I was at it, I just added a 110 outlet here. And the reason I did that is I don't really have any other outlets in this area. I've got one in that closet and then one back there behind my wood rack, but I didn't have anything in the center here. And it's just super nice to have an extra one. The opportunity was there, so we added another breaker there for just this outlet. And it's really nice because now I can like vacuum in here or whatever it is that I need to do. And then whoever guesses what that is will get a shout out in the next video. I don't know. That's one of the coolest things I own. So here we go. Close that. And then now let's go ahead and do a little charging. So just open that, grab it, and plug it in. And it's gonna turn blue, and I'll tell you the reason it's turning blue and not green. I have it set to charge only from 9 p.m. to 9 a.m. That's where my electrical rates are the lowest. That's something you set within the Rivian itself. And if we look here now, it's not charging. It's just kind of flashing white still. You know, that's just the way it is. Now, let's go, and just for you guys, we'll spend a little electrical juice. We'll get in here, which I'm sure is gonna screw with the whole Bluetooth situation. Hopefully you guys can still hear me. There's my boy sitting in the golf cart. So let's see, you go to your car, click the little charge. I've got it set to 70%, meaning it will stop when it's at 70% full charge. We're at 57% now. And as you can see, I'm at from 9 p.m. to 9 a.m. every day. But if I want to charge now, I'm just going to go ahead and click charge now. And now it says charging. And so we're going to get out. It was cool. It actually says that up here too, which is super nice. Let's see. Oh, tight space. So if I go here now, nice and green, and nice and green. Let's see. It's kind of a pulsating green, which is really cool. I don't know if that shows very green on the camera or not, but it's like a really beautiful green color. I don't know if any of you care, but it's a super attractive, cool green color for your garage. Mine's always going to be behind this closed door, so I won't see it. And then another person asked a very clever question. They said, if the car is locked, will this come out? The answer is no. It actually locks this in place also. So if the truck was locked right now, which I don't want to lock it because I'd have to exit the camera to do that. I don't have my key with me, and there's no other way to lock it at this moment. But anyway, so when you do lock it, you cannot remove this, no matter if you press the button or whatever. And that's there because if you're sitting at a public charger and somebody's jackassing around, they can't just yank your charger out. I'm sure with enough force they can break it, but that's what that's there for. So the colors really are green, meaning charging. There is blue, meaning it's awaiting the window. I believe that's what it means. You guys got to check the manual on that. You're much better at reading that than I am, apparently. And then white means that it's ready for charging. I've also seen red, meaning that there's something preventing it from charging. It could be either the status of the charger or the car, or I guess a number of reasons where it could be red. There may be other colors. I haven't experienced them yet. So that's what you get. And then if you want to remove it, you just press the button, wait for it to turn white, and then pull it out, and you're done. And I do recommend this holster no matter what, because the holster on the unit itself, even if it wasn't for kind of the way I've installed it, this terrible access I've created for myself there, even if it wasn't for that, it's actually not a very good holster. It's not as tight as this. This is actually pretty nice and tight. That is kind of like, I don't know, wobbly once it's in there. It didn't give me a really good feedback. Oh, there goes, it closed on its own. So for what it's worth, I like this external holster. It takes the load off the unit itself, which is nice. You can then put this at a more convenient place for yourself. There's a number of these on Amazon. There's actually ones where it actually has like a little cradle so that you can wrap the wire around it. I didn't need that, obviously, because I've got that in the closet. So this is all I needed. I wanted something super minimal, and I've got a nice big thick beam here that this went into, so I'm not really worried about it coming out. And I may reposition this at some point if I've got something I've got to do here. I have a lot going on in this garage that I got to get rid of. As you can see, there is 6 motorcycles there right now. The golf cart, the GT4, my wife's car goes in the middle of this, and then my whole like workshop situation. And say hi, Grant.
Hi.
So yeah, it's a bit of a nightmare, a really cool nightmare. But there's a few of these things going away soon. So my goal is to get it to where I can actually put the GT4 back here and then put the Rivian behind it, so I can have this open spot for the bikes so that they can get in and out easy, especially the golf cart, because we use that around the neighborhood quite a bit. But yeah, hopefully that answered all your questions about the charger. I can't imagine what else you want to know, but you guys always surprise me with more great questions. It gives me about 22 miles to the hour, depending on where I am on the charge curve. Okay, so I see it say 21. Sometimes it says 22. I've seen it say as high as 23. I've heard you can get as high as 25, but I'm assuming that's where you got a very low charge probably. So all of those things are very possible. I have not, I'm sure you guys are going to ask, but I've not actually put a like an amp meter or one of those like loops around the line back there to see how much power it's drawing at its highest. But I'm guessing it gets really close to those 48 amps. I did check the kilowatt draws on my meter, but it didn't tell. It's not very accurate, so I'm never going to mention it. It's supposed to add I think it charges at like 11 or 12 kilowatt hours, which makes sense, right? So every kilowatt hour I think gives you 2 miles of driving. So if you're at 11, you would get 22 miles of driving. So it kind of makes perfect sense. But again, you guys will have more questions. And so put them in the description below or in the comment section below. I look forward to reading them, possibly doing a second charger video. I doubt it. Or just answering your questions down below in the comments. Thanks again for watching, guys. This video is getting a little long. So I'll end it here and see you in the comment section. Click that subscribe button, because the video of me trying to water penetrate this Rivian with my pressure washer will be coming up next. I'm not sure if I'll get to do it this weekend, but it will be coming up soon. So click that subscribe button for that. And that way we'll get to test the water tightness of that tonneau cover as well. So yeah. See you next time.